Okay, alright. So I ended up getting a part for this vehicle that I need. There's a lot of issues wrong with it since I kind of rear-ended somebody, but I'm gonna use this first portion of this video showing the process of putting in a new cooling fan in the 944 Porsche. Hopefully it works out. If I really knew what I was doing, it probably would only take like an hour and a half, but it might take a little bit longer seeing as like I'm not like necessarily a mechanic. But I have the car here, so I just want to see if I can do it myself. Let me show you what part I'm trying to replace here. Alright, it makes the most sense if I show you the replacement part first. It's a dual engine cooling fan. It's just mine right here. It actually has a broken blade right there. It's absolutely genius. Alright, if you're gonna follow after me with working on cars, don't. Because I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know that this is mounted right there, and I'm not gonna take off all the stuff up here so I can pull the fan up. So I'm just gonna lift the whole car up, and now see if I can drop the fan down. All right, let's get underneath this thing. And since I'm not actually, you know, a mechanic or somebody that works on cars on a regular basis, I really don't even have the right tools for this. That's why I'm using this wrench instead of a socket, because I couldn't find the right size for this bolt. But hey, it's working, and you know, who cares? Alright, now that that's off, I can actually show you this little piece, or this fan that I'm gonna try to replace right now. This is the piece right here that I'm trying to replace. Wonderful. Haha! I did it. Alright, old part is removed. That's some progress. This is the old one, this is the new one. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and give it my best shot. Try to get this new cooling fan up into the engine bay. Heck yeah, yo! So, I got it up there. As you can see, I put the wiring harness thing back on it, but I've already ran into another issue. You can see right there, fan spins, but for this one, it actually doesn't spin. This hose right here for the coolant is in the way, this big old one right there, and I'm kind of running out of time here because I got somewhere to be in like an hour. So I'm just gonna put this all up and only plug in this fan for now, but I still gotta take this whole car to the mechanic anyway to figure out some other problems. For now, this was a sort of success. I feel like this is just basically the pattern of how things have been working. Some things get fixed and then other problems get discovered. It's just how it goes. So I have an idea. Yes, those are socks. Okay, if you've been watching my videos since the beginning of this channel, you would know that I have spent so much of my time as like a scooter athlete, or whatever you want to call it, on a trampoline scooter. One of these things. Now, since I have my very own Cody Flom signature scooter, I thought it would only be right to make the first ever Cody Flom signature trampoline scooter. Of course, these aren't actually going to be released like on the market or anything like that, or, well, honestly, I'm not even going to say that because who knows, anything could happen. But I at least want to show you and run you through the process of how to create your own trampoline scooter, turning something like this into a tool that you can use in order to help you learn new tricks at the skate park. So anyway, I need two more things before I can get started on this project. Let me run to the store and go get them. You know when you go to Walmart and there's that person standing like right before you exit the building, to like check to see if like your receipt is what you have in your hand or not. I always think those jobs are kind of arbitrary. They don't really like check to see like if what's on my receipt is really what's in my hand. Seems kind of pointless, I'm not gonna lie. All right, sweet. Rest of the duct tape has been acquired. I only needed the red and blue just to kind of recreate the look of the stripe that is already on my scooter. All right, I'm gonna do my best to not overcomplicate this video because making this scooter into a scooter that you can use on the trampoline really isn't that hard. And the first thing you gotta do is take these wheels off. There's one already off. Now I gotta get this back one off. One of the questions that somebody commented on my last Instagram post where I was saying I was doing a Q&A was, do you guys still make, or does Lucky still make the version 1 Cody Flom SIG deck? And they actually don't. Every year we basically just discontinue whatever the previous year's SIG deck is, and then we just release or produce whatever the new one is. So having my version 1 or version 2 SIG deck is almost like having a collectibles item, which honestly I think that's pretty cool to think of it that way. Alright, sweet. Wheel number 2 is already off. Next thing to do, remove that brake. The brake is off. Sweet, so now we can get into the process of actually putting together this trampoline scooter. Let me show you the things that you need in order to make this scooter. Scissors, tape, and socks. And you can also use rags if you don't want to use any of your socks. These are just old socks that I don't really need anyway, so I'm gonna cut them up, put them on the scooter. The gist of how this works is basically finding any sharp contact points on the scooter and covering them with a sock or a rag, whatever you're using, and then taping it up really nice and tight so that way there's no hindrances of like doing tricks while you're on the trampoline. So the 3 main contact points that you want to make sure to cover up nice and soft so that way you don't rip the mat of your trampoline are the back end where the back wheel goes, all around these edges, right here on the center of the deck. It really doesn't hurt to have just the metal piece bouncing on the trampoline. I've never actually ripped a trampoline with that. But then the second contact point is right here at the top of the deck. Obviously these edges are a bit sharp, you can smooth them out, make them a bit softer, and then finally the fork as well. The fork is what I've actually ripped the most mats on. I think over like the course of however many years that I've had trampoline scooters, I've ripped like 4 or 5 mats just from not properly padding up the fork. And really that was just my fault because you can put as much or as little padding on the fork as you want. Obviously I put like a very little amount simply because I don't like adding the unnecessary weight and I like being able to whip the scooter around. But my advice to you is to pad up all of the edges on your scooter as much as possible so that way you don't have to pay for a new mat. Those things are like $500 and honestly nobody wants to pay that. So let's start with padding up the deck and then we'll move from there. Okay, so if I'm completely honest with you, there's not really too much of like a rhyme to how you're supposed to situate the sock or the rag onto the edge of your scooter. It really just requires a little bit of common sense as to how you're gonna make this end of the scooter to where it's not gonna actually rip the mat of your trampoline. So now that I've already gotten the first pad kind of like secured onto the back end of the scooter, I want to actually just make all of this as neat and tidy as possible, and I want to get rid of all of these loose edges. You can see right here, loose edge, loose edge, loose edge, all of that stuff, because when you're actually jumping on the scooter, you're going to notice straight away that when your foot rests on this stuff and when you're constantly kicking it, the edges rip like crazy. So you want to make sure it's as tight as possible so that way you avoid that. Sweet, there you go. The back end is already all put on there. All right, genius. The front end of the deck is already kind of secured. I just gotta sort out the top half of this thing, I chose not to take the grip tape off the scooter because I knew that I wasn't going to be taping all along the top of it, and I still wanted some grip here. But in most cases, you would remove the grip tape so that way the tape sticks a little bit easier because tape doesn't really grab onto grip tape. But in this case, it'll be fine and I'll make it work. Heck yeah, so the front half of this deck is already all situated, nice and ready to go. And now the last thing to do is just to pad up the forks. So this is a good start, but like I said before, I've ripped the most amount of trampoline mats with my fork, so I'm gonna go ahead and put another layer on this thing, so just so I can double up the padding. Okay, so I know this is gonna be super extra, but the reason that I bought this blue and red tape was so that I can outfit the front half of the scooter, like right where the fork is, and also the back end of it where the back wheel would be, to make it kind of similar to what it looks like when my signature wheels are on this complete. Obviously I can't put an actual wheel on the scooter, so I want to at least make it resemble what my V3 signature complete looks like. So let me see what I could come up with. This is looking pretty good. Oh, I could like fix that back end just a little bit here. But overall, I'm actually liking how this has turned out. I kind of just threw together, you know, a little bit of blue, a little bit of red. Hopefully it turned out good, and I think it looks great. I don't really want to overdo it. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the back end, but instead of putting down blue first this time, I'm gonna put down red and then do the blue stripe. I think it'd be pretty dope. And it matches this signature graphic right here. Love it. Honestly, this is looking pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, I unintentionally created a little Spider-Man vibe over here, but I still think it looks like spot on. So there you have it, first ever Cody Flom V3 signature trampoline scooter. Let's go hop on the trampoline with this thing. Living the moment till I die, and I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it. Dude, honestly, I'm so happy with the look and the feel of this scooter. And also, next Sunday, 12 p.m. PST time, I'm gonna actually make another video with this trampoline scooter, having loads more clips in it, so be on the lookout for that. Anyway, thanks guys so much for watching, and I really appreciate your guys' support. Honestly, it means the world. Until next week, deuces.